keynote speakers who are already present among us are Dr. Pragya Pathak ma'am, Dr. Rajesh G. Kunur sir, and Dr. M. Radhika ma'am. I heartily welcome to you all. It's a great privilege to have you among us. So, for our next plenary session, I would like to invite Mrs. Anamika Chaurasia ma'am, Vice Principal, Samarpan Institute of Nursing and Paramedical Sciences, to introduce our next speaker, Dr. Pragya Pathak ma'am. Over to you, ma'am.
Thank you, Prakti, to invite me. Jai Hind to all. I am Ms. Anamika Chaurasia, Vice Principal of Samarpan Institute of Nursing and Paramedical Sciences. I am going to introduce Dr. Pragya Pathak ma'am for today's session on concept mapping in research, a strategic approach to problem development. Ma'am is currently working as Professor cum Vice Principal at College of Nursing, Dr. Ram Manohar Lohia Institute of Medical Sciences, Lucknow, UP. She done her doctorate PhD and MSc from PGI, Chandigarh. She completed her BSc from Ahilya Bai College of Nursing, Delhi, Maulana Azad Medical College and Delhi University. Then experience and achievements. Ma'am have more than 21 years of teaching experience from working in different organizations such as AIMS Delhi, PGI Chandigarh and Dayanand Medical College and Fortis Mohali. Then she reviewed nursing curriculum under the WHO NCD competency-based curriculum review, AIMS Trauma Nursing and Yanip Oya University, Mangalore. Then ma'am has completed many intramural and extramural research projects such as ISSR projects, ICMR projects, AIMS Delhi. Ma'am guided many UG and PG students in their research projects. Ma'am published numerous research in national and international journals. Ma'am playing versatile role as doctoral research committee, external report and thesis evaluator of PhD, Viva Vice at Baba Farid, Chitkara, Ramchandra and Himalayan University, Southeast. Nursing examiner in UG and PG nursing exam at AIMS Delhi, including 7 AIMS, KGMU, ILBS, Chitkara, West Bengal University, IP University Delhi and AVV, MU, etc. Ma'am organized numerous workshops, CNE and chaired sessions, Southeast invited as speaker. Then ma'am have membership in various national and international committees such as member of Southeast again, region, NCD, service delivery, Network India, International Society of Nurses in Career Care, TNI and CNRS. So welcome ma'am. Kindly continue the session.
So, very good morning to one and all present here. Before starting my session, I would like to congratulate Samarpan Institute for organizing this national conference. which is on a very pertinent and relevant topic of research, innovations. I would like to congratulate the principal, Dr. Deepti Shukla, the management, all the organizers, the participants who are there. So congratulations to all of you. And my topic, which I'll be taking, is on concept mapping. It is about how to use concept mapping in problem research statement development. So, so when we remember the researches we have conducted as UGs or as PG nursing students, or when we did our doctoral researches, and when we had to select a topic for doing that research, what comes to your mind are multiple ideas. We are always flooded with multiple ideas for doing the research. I see among the participants are mostly the UG students or PGs also, MSCs also. Faculty also is there who have done the doctoral researches also, other research projects also which we carry out. So the moment we think about doing any research work, we get flooded with multiple ideas on which research work should which topic should I select for research. And what happens as a result is a lot of time gets in between of selecting a particular topic for research. So what happens is multiple ideas are there in the brain that I should choose this particular topic or that particular topic, but then it takes a lot of time in deciding out which topic should we select. And what happens is this selecting a research problem is a very important area which we should consider very particularly, because this is an important area. If you select a topic properly and properly formulate a problem statement, this will help you out in carrying out the research nicely. So when we have to choose a topic, what we can do is we can utilize the concept mapping. So all of you must have seen these kind of concept maps in which we keep a broader topic or broader area above, and the more specific topics comes out below. And the integration in between, whatever is there, what are our concepts in between, the ideas which are coming in between, we connect them, and they are by unidirectional or it may be a bidirectional lines in between. So when we choose to use the concept maps, what we can do is, it's not working. We can choose the topics and so the concepts which we have in our mind is like, what is the research topic? What gap does this research fill? The research which we want to do. What problem, the problem which we are taking up, what research this research is going to solve. We can think of what influences the research outcome, why at all this research is important. So we have to answer multiple things which we'll discuss in the next slide. So why we have to use the concepts map? It will be easy because the whole complex information gets simplified. So when you make a flow chart of this, you draw a concept map, you become more clear about what you are actually going to do in your research work. So it will be enhancing the understanding among the research person that what I am going to do in this particular research work. And it will be enhancing your critical thinking skills, because when you answer these questions of your research topic is what I am doing, why I am doing this, where I am doing this, how I am going to do this. So this will be, the answers of the research what you are doing. And it will be, your research work will get more organized in the beginning only. So this is how your concept mapping will be very helpful. So in the beginning only you will be able to plan your whole work, as well as you will be able to organize it so well. So when you use the concept mapping, see what answer these questions or write down on the list of paper what you are doing in your research. So all the what questions comes to your mind, just list them out, where you are going to do it. So where you have to see for where is the setting, so where you are going to carry this out. So some research may be in the community setting, some research may be in your tertiary care hospital, some researches may be in the college settings or maybe in the schools. So answer where you are going to do this work, then ask for when. So when is the timing, when you are going to do this. So what is the month, particular month, what is the particular timing. So if you want to conduct a research on malaria, on the topics of dengue, so there is a particular timing in the year when you want to carry that research work. So you have to answer that when you are going to do this. And even in the when, it may be the timing in the day also. Some researches you have to carry out in the evening time or in the morning hours or throughout the day. So answer for the when. Then who will be your participants, who will be your sample, on whom you are going to do this work. Then why you are going to do this work. So why you are choosing this topic, what is the importance and relevance of your topic, why it is so significant, how you are going to do it. So how will answer your questions. So when you think of any topic, just ask these questions, write them down, how you are going to do it, what things will be required for doing it. So how will, once you answer the how, you will get all the answers for feasibility. So whether it is feasible or not. So once you answer these, list on the piece of paper, write down, jot them down and answer all these, and then out of 3 or 4 topics which you were having in your mind that I want to carry out this particular research on this particular topic. So you may be having 3 to 4 favorite topics on which you wanted to do the research. Then out of this, you will have an immediate click in your mind, which topic I have to go about. So this happens because we have 3 to 4 topics in the mind on which we want to work. But then the moment you are able to answer very clearly for when, how and why, so whichever topic you are able to answer for all these, that becomes your topic. So then we move from the broader area to a more concise one by refining it from time to time. And in refining that, the concept map helps you a lot. So when you choose an area or your topic, so area may be like if you choose to do a research in oncology. So out of that particular area, which research problem you want to address. So choose for a research problem you want to seek for. Then after that comes your purpose, what for you are doing this research. Then after your research questions, which all questions out of that problem you want to address. Next. So when we talk about a problem and a research problem statement, what difference is there? Is it the same or is it different? These students? Is it the same when I say the research problem or the research problem statement? Research problem states the problem. The statement more specifically says what problem you are taking up in your statement, and it specifies everything about your design, and it is a clear and concise statement. So firstly you write about what is your research problem. So it will be a specific question or issue which you want to address through your research. So when you go about the research problem statement, so from your research problem, develop your research problem statement. So in your research problem statement should come up from your research problem, or your research problem should get covered in your research statement. So statement is a clear and concise statement about the issues which you want to address in your research problem, and make sure that your research problem statement should be in line with your problem which is there. So what happens is sometimes the problem is something, but in your statement it doesn't get reflected well. Because whatever you reflect in your research problem statement, out of your research problem statement your objectives will be derived. So make sure you make it very specific and very clear. But now what do you think we need to have a research problem statement? How it will be helping out? Because once you specify what is your research problem statement, it becomes more clear, it becomes more specific, you are able to describe it, predict it, and identify what is the solution to it. Okay. And it helps you to narrow down your area, because in the beginning you have just chosen a topic. So you must have chosen a particular area, maybe oncology nursing or nephrology nursing. Out of that broad area, you will be able to narrow it down once you make your problem statement more specifically. And it will give you a clear picture in brief about what work you are going to do in your research. It becomes more clear, it will help you out in developing the objectives more specifically and more clearly, because your problem statement is very clear to you. So when you have to seek for your research problems, for the beginning researchers or for any other researchers, there are many sources also which are available for which you can seek out your research topics or areas. But very simply, you can carry out the research on any topic which you are knowing, any topics you care about, or on any topics which are of importance to the public. Okay? So in the healthcare sector, we have the public as the patients. So any topic which is of relevance to the patients, that can be carried out. In addition to this, the review of literature helps out a lot. So just 2 decades before, the databases, there used to be thesaurus. So people used to sit in the libraries, and from the thesaurus they used to search the journals in which that particular topic used to exist. So for hours and hours together sitting in the library, you will find out this particular topic, you will find in which all journals, and then you will find out, search those journals, open those journals, then seek that particular article. Now it has become such an easy job. With all the databases, everything is available online. You can immediately search just on a one click. So literature searching has become such an easy job, and you have a session also separately on literature search. So literature search, once the researcher goes about it, they will be going to know what all topics are there in which there is a need for carrying out the research. Some research organizations, they give you an idea like what kind of researches can be done. From your researchers, teams, or from peers, you get the idea of what work can be done. From your recommendations of previous researchers, so research which is already carried out. So in PG researches, the recommendations are written in all the researches which are carried out. That gives you a clue of what further can be done in this particular area of research. Then experience of the professionals. So the faculty who is there in that particular area, the practicing nurses, they can give you the clue on which all areas can be searched. Then from particular theories, so testing of the theories can be done. Then some areas may be like with your intuition also. So intuition, like if you are a practicing nurse in nursing officer in some particular area, with your observation you examine that if you do a particular intervention or particular dressing, this is more helpful. So from your intuition, if you want to try it out, that can be, you can research on that particular topic. Then from funding agencies. So there are various funding agencies which fund the researches, and they give the thirst areas of research. So based on those funding agencies' thirst areas also, you can carry out the research. So various funding agencies you are aware of, ICMR, ICSSR, DBT, DST, they all are funding. So they give the thirst areas on which the research can be carried out. Then from your existing practices not researched. So are you aware of any existing practice which is not being researched? You do not have an evidence for that. There are many things which we practice. Most of the things, 95% of things which we practice have some evidence base. But still there are some areas on which we do not have a evidence for it. So if you feel there is no evidence, there is no literature available, but you are practicing that with your patients, or you are practicing those things in your wards, so then just carry out research on that particular topic or area. So that will help you out to produce an evidence and will tell you whether what you are practicing is actually right or not. Then from your personal experiences, so your day-to-day observations, you can carry out the research on those areas. Then your social issues. So many qualitative studies also can be carried out for the social issues. Next. From brainstorming also. So many times when you sit with the peers, when you sit in your group, you brainstorm what can be the area in which I should carry out this work. And from your brainstorming you will get to know what is the research topic I should seek for. Then from your peers, discussion with your peers. So you discuss it with your peers groups. So when, especially for your MSc research work, you discuss with your peers that what is the area, what is your area of interest. So concept mapping can be done that time also, and you can come to a conclusion on any topic which you want to research out. Then even if you don't get from any of this, I'm telling you different ways, like you have the literature which is available, right from simple your whatever is your interest area. So your favorite area. So you can think of in your mind that what is the favorite area on which I want to work. Then any topic in your study or in your specialization. So whichever specialization you choose, what is your favorite topic out of that. Then your experiences. So anything you have observed in the schools, in the hospitals, in your community, that can become your area of the research. Like if you have observed that in these schools many students use the mobile phones, or the use of mobile phones is very on a high rise among the school going students or college going students, so that becomes an area of your research. Okay, so from your personal experiences also you can find out on which topic you are going to research. What professional gain here? So some researches also get come into play by the professional gain, like you do particular research in your area and you get the promotions for that in that. So those can be your area. Then area of employment. So wherever you are working. So if you are working in a neuro unit, you may carry out the research in that particular area. So your area of work you can choose. Gap in your concerned industry. So healthcare industry, there's a lot of gap in the evidences of what we are carrying out. So that gap or lacuna you can find out and carry the research in those particular areas. Then your personal interest or your hobbies. So those topics also you can choose for carrying out the research. So when you choose a topic, what do you think you should keep in mind, or what you actually keep in mind? The first thing which comes to your mind, I will carry out a research in my area of interest. So the interest of the researchers is the prime important thing after feasibility, because many things we want to do but it is not feasible to do. So seek always that something which is interesting to you, choose that. Any topic which is relevant. Relevant, if I say, if I now want to do a research on COVID, but currently very few cases on COVID. So whether it is relevant now, but it is absolutely also not relevant, because just few years before COVID was there. So seek that what is relevant now. So today, can you tell me any topics which are of more relevance nowadays, or which are in market a lot? AI. So everybody is on AI, mobile gaming, mobile apps. So AI research isn't so much of this thing. So everybody on AI research. So seek what is relevant in the market right now. Because even for the funding, you will immediately get the funding for that. And keep your area focused, because what happens is when you choose the topic, suppose now if I generally say AI, what in AI I want to say, I want to research out. AI is such a broad area, what in AI I specifically want to research. So keep it focused. Then make sure you have some evidence for what you want to carry out. Any wild ideas should have some evidence. So importance, relevance, your feasibility. Feasibility I will take in detail, because there are many things which we seek for feasibility. Then your interest, what is your important goals and objectives out of that. Your researcher's adequate knowledge and skills. So if I say I want to work on AI, so am I adequately equipped, or skilled to perform a research on AI. So what is your knowledge area, what is your skill set, that we have to find out, because otherwise you will be stuck in your work. You will not be able to complete that research work. So seek what is your expertise and then choose. So new and original, it is always said, your faculty always says that bring some new topic. They reject your topics multiple times. They keep saying bring some new topics. And the one who performs, they say they keep rejecting. Why? What new topic? So new in the sense of what? Like if I say AI, today thousands of researches have been done in AI. So nothing new in AI also. If I say mobile game apps, multiple researches in mobile apps also. So what new? How do you decide for new? Anyone from the participants, from the students? What new? How do you decide for new? MSc students. New means, because in AI multiple research is done. In mobile game apps multiple research is done. What has not been done? Or some studies which have been done abroad, or in some other countries, but not done here. And you feel as a researcher that you will have a difference if you do it here. Suppose like use of mobile game apps in our country or in northern state or in northern India compared to southern India or to other countries. Okay, so you will find a difference, or the perception of people will be different. So that becomes a new area, because otherwise broad topic will always be same. So you can't say that it is not a new topic. AI, hundreds of researches. Mobile game, hundreds of researches. You have to find out what has not been done. That becomes a new thing. And that makes your topic more important, more relevant. And once you go out for publishing, it becomes a choice to be published. So seek, it is new, then it is interesting. Interesting says, as I said, relevant, AI is relevant. Make it interesting, so interesting for you as well as for the readers. Researchable, this is also important, something which is ethically and legally should not have any problems. Then implication is very important thing. So when you choose a topic, what implication will be there? So if you are choosing AI as a topic right now, in AI, what implication in nursing will be there? In your profession, what is its implication? Okay. So if you choose to do some topic which is relevant to engineering profession or which is relevant to fashion industry, what is the implication in your profession? So seek for that, how it is going to benefit the profession. Then that is why I have said, in significance, seek in your profession what will be its importance in the nursing practice. Though it is not that you have to do it only for nursing, but when you do as your UG researches, PG researches or doctoral researches, seek that for your profession it has some implications. So for nursing practice, so either some implication in the nursing practice. So all the studies which you see are carried out in the hospitals will have some of the other implications for the patients or for the nursing officers, or in the field of nursing education. There are many areas, so either it should be relevant and have some significance in the practice area, or in education area, or in nursing administration area, or a research which finds a gap in the knowledge in the nursing research areas. Okay, so seek for any area where it fits in. So that tells the significance of this. Then coming to the feasibility, which actually comes as the most important thing. Many times we want to do some research, but then it becomes actually not feasible for us. So feasibility of the research actually finds out whether you will be able to do that particular research or not. So in feasibility, what all things we need to see is the facilities available. So if you want to suppose do a stem cell research, so do you have a stem cell facility available in your institution? So we have to find out. My interest area is that, but that is not available. So I cannot do that particular research. So make sure that those particular facilities should be available for you. Then equipments. So the equipments which you will require for carrying out that research will be important. So which kind of equipments? Any equipment which you will require in your research work. So if you think of doing a hydrogen breath testing, so do you have an equipment available for that? Okay, so think in those perspectives. So this also is your concept mapping. You are thinking whether it is feasible or not. So when you jot down your statement, you are actually thinking on these areas also. Expertise to conduct the study. So as I gave the example for AI, do you have that expertise to carry out that particular work? So whether I am having those expertise and skills, then funding. So some works require funding. So just find out, because as a researcher you will not be able to charge anything from the patients also for particular investigations or for particular demands of your research. So whether you, as a researcher, you have to find out whether you have a funding available for it or not, or how much monetary implications will be there for this particular research work. So whether you will be able to support that research or not. So because then ultimately out of this, I have shown you 4 or 5 bulbs. So you have those 5 bulbs, then out of those 5 bulbs you will find out this particular topic only will be feasible for me. Then your manpower. So some researchers will require a lot of manpower support. Manpower support, if you have ambitiously planned such a statement where you have a lot of work to be done in your research. So then you will require a manpower also to collect the data. Or if you plan a study which will require 3 to 4 years of data collection, then you require a lot of manpower support. So whether you will require the manpower for this, so seek for that, whether it is available for you or not. Then sample availability also. So if you choose a topic of COVID-19 right now, do you have the sample available for it? No. So choose a topic for which you have a sample availability right now. Then cooperation. This becomes also a very important factor. So most of the time the students complain that when we are going to the clinicals or going anywhere for data collection, the students in the schools, the students are not cooperating, or the management is not cooperating, or the staffs are not cooperating. So this you have to find out whether you will get the required cooperation. Then timing. How much of time will be required? How much of time implications means if a research you want to do for observation for 10 to 12 hours. So then it will be a lot on the part of researcher to observe some work for 12 hours. So how much time will be required? So time of day, not only the day, but also the time of total duration. So if your research data collection will take for your MSc work 2 years of time, will that topic can be taken? You will not be able to take that topic. 2 years of data collection for MSc work. For MSc work, if you have 2 years of data collection when you are going to submit your thesis. So that feasibility you have to seek for timings also. Your data collection period should not extend for more than 6 to 8 months of time duration, so that rest of the part you can do the analysis, presentations, your pilot work. Okay. So this timing has to be seen in the day, in the whole duration of data collection. Next. So these are the factors which always seek an answer, write down, and then decide. Your qualification as a researcher for the topic, whether you are qualified to do the research on that particular area. Some people seek to do the researches on acupuncture or some other areas in which you do not have actually studied, or you do not have an expertise on that. You do not have a degree for that. So you are not qualified to do that unless until you get trained or obtain a certificate for it. So your qualification, your specialization, your experience, aptitude for the area of work, your training, area of interest, so all these are from the part of researcher. So the same thing which I have told, I have classified them in different categories of some feasibility and factors from the researcher point of view, some feasibility and factors from the organization's point of view, and from the other feasibility point of view. So from researcher's point of view, your qualification, your experience, your expertise, your specialization, those are the areas. From organization point of view, it is your availability. Availability of the facility, availability of the equipments, availability of the sample. So all those are from the organization. From feasibility, so overall feasibility of manpower, money, material, okay, time, and other resources. So need of the study, The gaps in knowledge and the new areas are the one factor which also will decide. So you have everything, feasibility is there, everything is there, but actually there is no gap in the knowledge. Means the work which you are choosing or doing was already done. So actually then there is no gap in the knowledge. Then why you are doing that particular research? So the gap has to be there. So find out whether the gap in knowledge is there. Application of research result. So what's its application ultimately? So whatever findings come out, what will be its application? Then scientific, social, practical or educational implications of research. So in any field of this, there has to be some implications. So then you move from research ideas to research problem. So initially the ideas were there, you did so much of brainstorming, you developed the concepts, you written how, when, why, everything. So from your brainstorming and ideas, and this is both ways. Ideas lead to brainstorming, and when you brainstorm, this gives you ideas. So then after this, you do the review of literature, because multiple times we get brilliant idea, but when you see the literature, already this work is done. So this happens. So then when you review this literature, you will get to know whether actually there is a gap in the knowledge or not, or this work is already being done. Even if this work is already been done, don't get disheartened, just find out whether it's been done in your setting, in your area, or there will be any difference if you carry out that work in your particular settings. Then identify the variables. So which variables you are choosing. So you are aware of independent and dependent variables. So seek which variables you are choosing in your statement. So you will have to study them. Then you formulate the problem statement. Research problem statement, questions and hypotheses will be formulated. So what is happening here is, from more broader to more specific, to more concise you are becoming in this whole process through your concept maps. So you have actually identified an area. So I gave you example for suppose oncology nursing. In oncology nursing, what you are choosing, then you have dissected that into sub areas. So in oncology nursing, I want to do a study on terminally ill patients. Okay, then select interested sub areas. Then in terminally ill, what do I want to see? So then I will think on what in terminally ill I want to seek. So then after this, you will raise the questions. So what questions come to your mind? What is the quality of life of terminally ill? So my questions in what is the psychological status of terminally ill patients? So like this, the questions are coming to my mind. After these questions, I will formulate the objectives. So though research problem statement, objective formulation is not the part of research formulation statement, but why we write the objectives? Because once you write the objectives, you get to know that it is covered in your research problem statement. So then you assess the objectives, means whether you will be able to do this particular research, and then double check. Double check is with the feasibility also, whether it is feasible or not. So identify a broad topic area. From your broad topic area, as I said, do the review of literature, find out what is the existing and what is the gap. Examine significance of the problem. So whether you have find out everything, but it is not significant. So some researches which we finish and then later on realizes what is its significance, what is the implications of this research. Then assessing the feasibility of study. So after feasibility of the study you have seen, you narrow down this topic. Narrow down this topic because after your feasibility, half of the questions are gone. Out of 5, only 1 bulb will be left. So out of that, very specific it will become. So from that specific, you will actually formulate a final research problem statement. So this is how your research problem statement keeps changing. So you will see the day one which the statement you have formulated, by a few months it keeps changing by the time you check the feasibility or you carry out your pilot research work. But it should not be changed. That is what, if you do a thorough concept mapping before, you answer all these questions before, your statement will remain fixed. So this criteria you must have very clear, multiple times heard of this final criteria which is followed. That is feasible. So for any work, whether it is feasible, if you are able to answer these questions, it is clear that whether your work is feasible, it is interesting, it is novel, new it is there, something newer you are doing in this, it is ethical and it is relevant. So when it comes to the scientific researches which are carried out or the RCT designs which are there, so for RCTs the Picot model is followed. In Picot model, answer what will be your population. So for any research problem statement which you have developed for RCT design, see what is your population, what intervention you are carrying out, what comparison group is there or what comparisons you are carrying out, your outcome of the study and the timing. Okay. So once you answer these, what is actually happening? It is becoming more, the more focus you give, more refined it becomes. So it has become more and more refined. So your problem statement is now extremely clear to you. So after this, when you are formulating your research problem statement, what all components you are including in this? You should have a research design mentioned in this. You must have the variables mentioned in this. So your variables should be measurable or quantifiable. You should have the, whether if it is an independent variable or dependent variable, identify those. So independent variable is the one which is manipulated by the researcher and dependent variable is the outcome variable. So population you are studying, the sample and the participants. So in participants you have to identify the setting where you are going to do the research. So all this is the component when you state for problem statement. So when you state the problem statement, always seek that your statement is extremely simple, is clear and it gives a clarity. Because if you put some jargons or complicated terminologies or something which is not clear, so it will be confusing for everybody, including you, the readers also. And so make it very simple, very clear, no extra words in that. No extra words because every term you include, because that is why I said variables. You have to be very clear which variables I am writing. So you cannot include anything extra in that. Whatever you have included in your research problem statement will become as a part of your research objectives. You cannot include anything extra which is not a part of your research. And then when you formulate, it can be in two forms, either in a declarative or interrogative format. So if you, out of this, which is the interrogative format, with the first one is which one? The first study which I have written, it is which format? Declarative format, a quasi-experimental study to assess the effect of music on the stress level of patients admitted in the geriatric ward of a tertiary care hospital. So this statement which I have formulated is, it is declaring. Okay. While the second one which is asking the question is a interrogative format. Okay. How does the implementation of infection control bundle by the nurses impact the rate of healthcare associated infections? So you are asking in this is an interrogative format. So once you state your problem statement, you can choose any of this format, declarative or interrogative format. Then, so in for the students, from these statements you can identify from the first statement RCT on effectiveness of oral ice application on oral mucositis in headache neck cancer patients admitted in a tertiary care hospital. So what is the design? Do we have time? If then I'll take up this part. 5 minutes, okay. So what is the design mentioned? So statement is having a design mentioned, the variables are mentioned, okay. The setting is mentioned where it is being conducted, okay. So you from this, the problem statement should include all these components. Then second statement on attitude of nursing officers towards caring HIV/AIDS patients receiving treatment from a tertiary care hospital. Okay, so like this you are formulating for qualitative studies also, a phenomenological study to explore the lived experiences of patients on mechanical ventilation. Okay, so whether it is a qualitative or quantitative work, accordingly you can mention your research design. So like this you should be able to identify the design, variable, sample and setting in this. Next slide. So if you see in your research problem statement, you have one problem path. but there may be multiple solutions to it. Solution 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 or n number of solutions to it. But if you do not choose which question you are answering in your research, then it becomes confusing. So the moment you formulate your problem research statement and you develop your research questions, those questions only you can analyze and answer in your research work. Okay, so choose and identify from your problem path, because if you have chosen an oncology nursing area, then I have chosen a terminally ill patients, then out of multiple research questions which I had in mind, I cannot jump into any other conclusions. I can choose only what questions I have raised. So when you formulate the research questions, seek for these things that it is limited to a single problem area. So if I have chosen terminally ill patients, I cannot jump back to any other area. That is one important thing. You should be able to answer with the data collection. So when you collect the data, you should be able to answer these questions. So if the example which I gave you, like if I want to study the psychological status of the terminally ill and the quality of life, will I be able to answer this through the data collection? I'll be able to answer this, no? If I collect the data, after this I'll be able to answer this. So you seek the question which you have raised, whether you will be able to answer that thing with your data collection. Your variables are measurable, resolvable within the time limit and other restrictions. As I said, for your MSc work, if you have chosen a 2 years data collection, so you will not be able to finish that research work within the duration of timing. So within that particular time period, you should be able to complete that work. Provides comprehensive and detailed result. So every research question which you have posed, you should be able to answer within that particular duration of time. Relevant and realistic. So be very realistic when you set the objectives. We set the SMART objectives, no? So it should be specific, measurable. Okay. So if you formulate 20 objectives in the research, have you seen written 20 objectives? Because you will not be able to finish them in the due duration of time. Okay, so be very realistic. Whatever you will be able to achieve, just write those. Reflects your chosen field of study. So which area you have studied. So in your statement is, because many times we see in the thesis, in the statement is saying something else. The objectives are saying something else. The analysis is done something else. And the researcher is saying some other implications of the study. They all should be in line. Your objectives are coming out from your research statement only. Your statement should reflect that. So, in developing your research question, from identifying your area or your topic, which was your first step, what you have done is you have reviewed the literature, you have seen what is the lacuna or gap in the knowledge is existing. Out of that, the next is you have kept refining this and narrowing down your topic. And what has helped you is through your concept mapping. You have asked for who will be doing it, where you are going to do it, how you are going to do it, why you are doing this particular research. So this is helping you throughout your research, not only in the problem statement development. So these are some of the statements which I have formulated to give you examples for different designs in which you can have statement and you can identify the components of this. So for quasi-experimental, you have a quasi-experimental study on effectiveness of PMR on sleep quality among the patients admitted in a cardiology unit. Okay. So for different designs, you can have the different statement formulation, but every design, these components will be existing. So you have to have a design, you have to have the variables, identify those variables, you have to have the setting, the sample, or the timing where you are going to conduct it. So these are the different examples of research works for different studies. So what is the take-home message from this session is, take-home message is the concepts, the ideas. So before going for developing a problem statement, just think of on these areas, think critically. So this concept mapping will help you out in thinking critically, answer those questions and then decide for what you are going to do. Okay, and then do the work. Okay, thank you. Questions they have to ask? Any questions? Any questions, please? Okay, then thank you so much.
So I would like to extend my sincere gratitude to our esteemed speaker, Dr. Pragya Pathak ma'am, for sharing their valuable insights and expertise with us. So session was very interesting. Uh, Ma'am has told us how to develop a problem statement to our research field. So ma'am also well explained all the topics. So once again, thank you, ma'am. And I also thank to all the participants for your attention, and I wish you a great day ahead. Thank you.
Uh, Thank you, Dr. Pragya. Madam's session was very insightful and very much informative. All the learners might have learned very fruitfully. I would also like to announce that at present, QCI team has visited Samarpan Institute. So due to this, Dr. Dipti Shukla, she could not able to join, but she will be joining shortly. Thank you.